Hello, everybody. Sorry about the delay there. Just have a little bit of technical difficulties. How's everybody doing today? So first and foremost, most importantly, I need to introduce my next guest. I'm very excited to be able to talk to you about these games. Josh Davis, how you doing today?
Hi, Scott. I am doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. That was a fun 5 minutes of trying to make things work as fast as we possibly can, but I think it turned out all right. So instead of doing a little bit of co-op, we're gonna do single player. So you guys will be seeing my gameplay, but I've been sharing my screen with Josh, so he will be able to watch, comment, critique, give me some advice, and tell me how terrible I am at this game.
Yeah, we'll do.
So the first thing I always like to open off with any of the shows that we do is ask you a question that has nothing to do with the games and has nothing to do with that. When you play video games, what is your ideal conditions? So work is done, you're finally able to relax, you're in your space, you're in your zone. Do you like playing in the day? Do you like playing at night? Do you like having a glass of wine? Do you like having a nice cold pop? What do you do to relax and really get into the zone?
Good question. Good question. I think because of, the whole working from home thing, it has become, fortunately, unfortunately, like as soon as I'm done work, I just close all the windows and just go straight into Rocket League, and that's just like the transition for the
Wow.
evening.
Man,
Uh,
my coworker Jermaine is just he's singing to himself right now. Like that's his favorite thing. He's been trying to get me on it for months, and I haven't gone back after years of playing with friends.
Yeah, I don't know what it was this past year. It just took off for me. But otherwise, yeah, like, especially playing with the Switch, just being able to have like relax, lean back, have my controllers be wireless in both hands. Yeah, just basically be as relaxed as possible and just get into the zone. That's how I like to play.
I appreciate that. I do because that's for me personally. Like, and fans of the show will already know this, but like I'm much more of like a night gamer. But it's for the same reason why a
Mhm.
lot of people are like when I talked to Graham on the last episode of the podcast, he's very much 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning type of thing. But I think it's for the same reasons, right? Where you're not like you don't have any obligations to the rest of the world. Where it's like I don't need to
Mhm.
worry about my phone blowing up. Even 6 o'clock, it's only an hour after work. Certain things happen. You got to jump back, fix this, fix that. But when it comes to midnight, no one's expecting me to respond. No one's worried about anything. It's like I can just really take a time. My boy Hemant in the chat, same thing. It's like all about night gaming. Just turn it all off and just get into it.
Very nice,
Um,
yeah.
so I just want to talk a little bit about your position as well as
Mhm.
QA and assistant producer, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
That's something that I can see you light up a bit and you're pretty proud of. Um, so did you come in as a QA and assistant producer, or did that role just kind of grow over time?
No, that is an interesting question. I came in as a QA tester, and then a reasonably small company. So from time to time, people have to wear a couple of different hats. And because I've been in the company for 2 years at this point, there were just a couple of things that I kept helping out with. And slowly my tasks kind of enveloped into a few more things. And I think it eventually became that most of my days were doing things that couldn't be really classified as QA testing. At which point we had like we'll talk and be like, yeah, yeah, it's not you're not just a QA tester anymore. And so it was bequeath the title of
Ooh,
assistant producer,
good way to put
given all
that.
the various ways of given the various things I was doing.
Is that an avenue that you maybe want to go into in the future, or do you think you want to stick with like QA predominantly?
I honestly just love working in the games industry. I, I think I mentioned to you, I'm like pretty early on in I think what my hopeful career trajectory is. So yeah, still figuring it out. I'm loving what I'm doing so far. I would love to keep going in this direction. But yeah, also more than happy to just QA test all day and just try poke holes in everything everyone's doing.
It's a very careful and instructed answer, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get
Uh,
into a little bit of the gameplay. I also expect you to call me out. I expect you to be my coach. Okay.
hmm hmm
So, how long has it been since you first had your hands on a controller with this game up until launch? January 18th, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, so it's the first time?
Yeah, so like, did you get your hands on like that first day you started? Or was it
Yeah,
something that, yeah?
yeah. On the very first day, I think there were basically just two levels to the game at that point, just the tutorial dungeon and a little bit of the castle overworld, if I remember correctly. Um, and then it's just been every day since then. I think we did some rough math, and it's I think about 1,000 hours a year. Like assuming I'm playing maybe like 4 or 5 hours of the game a day, which sometimes more, sometimes less. But you know, 1,000 it's about 1,000 hours of gameplay a year. And then you know two years, so 2,000 2,000 hours of playing the game over and over again. And hey, I still love it. Like especially during the early stages of development, there were so many things that were changing every few months. Like it never got boring to play. There were the Drinkbox process. I mean, I'm sure most games like this as well, but is very iterative. And you know we have milestones that we hit, and we gather feedback, and we just try new things. And there are some major changes throughout the game's life.
That was actually one of the first things I wanted to bring up to you was like the scale, like just the sheer scale of it, right? Like is not what I expected coming into it, to be honest. Came in, I was figuring we were going to get a biome, maybe two, right? And then as soon as, obviously, should put this on the table right off of the bat, to be honest. Level 15 character, pretty far or getting there in the story wise. So if you're really sensitive to spoilers, we'll try not to spoil any like particular plot points. But we are going to be talking mechanics. We are going to be talking a little bit more about the game itself. But one of the things that I did want to bring up was exactly that, where I was expecting one, maybe two biomes, right? And now I'm meeting the knights, I'm meeting the thieves guilds, I'm meeting all these different people that are all part of different spots of the world. And then I'm going into a desert area, and I've come from even water. Like you go up to the water, and I was like, I feel like at some point, like it's not it gave me a Pokemon vibe in a way, where I came up to the water and I was like, they haven't said anything to me, but I have a feeling I'm going to be back here. And then you start to look at the map and you're like, oh, of course they have this in mind. So then I made it my personal mission to get the mermaid.
Nice. Have you swum around at all?
I have.
Nice.
Which I will get to shortly. All right, so from here, just so I can do something while we speak, what is your advice of where for me to go? I'm level 15. The two dungeons that I can see, I'll go to my map in just a moment, if I don't die.
Yeah.
And I know you've seen this too many times. So, level 21 right here, right? Thieves Guild, level 17. Also, I just want to make a comment that 30 is one thing, but this seems unfair.
Oh, my favorite dungeon. It's honestly the most fun. I've seen so many people come up with
Times 10,000.
creative ways.
That's so many.
It's both harder and easier than you think. Like yeah, I don't want to spoil too much.
Of course.
I feel like that moment you have that click of how it works, it's just immensely satisfying. And again, like lots of people have had different ways of doing that dungeon. I have. Oh, I wish I could tell you about it, but it is a bit too spoiler. But there's a way of blasting through that dungeon if you play your cards right, is what I'll say.
That's something that I'm sure you have plenty of experience with, to be like, how do I break this? Like, that is kind of your role, right? Is like, also one of the things I wanted to ask you just real quick was same kind of thing I asked Graham, and actually gave me a couple great stories about it. But when you have all these different, as soon as you unlock customization, right? As soon as you're able to actually grab abilities from other forms and put them on any form that you want, some of those combinations I feel like had to be game breaking. Like were there points where you were playing and you're like, this is way too OP. Like we cannot, this can't be in the end game. Like,
yeah, there were. It's really interesting because, passive for one. As you can see, that you will eventually be able to unlock your 4 slots and have 4 different passive. That actually wasn't really a thing until like reasonably late on in the game's lifespan. Like you could only really have 1 passive. And then all of a sudden, again, just one of those iterative processes. We
given something else to chase.
Kind of. I was just like we were constantly trying to figure out what is the most satisfying way of like having people customize their abilities, like what feels good for them. And I'm no designer, so I can't talk about that process to any authority. But eventually, I think Graham mentioned. I think we've mentioned it in other tweets and whatever. But we used to we used to have equipment in the game, and that used to be
Oh.
those four passive slots used to be equipment, and one of your ability slots used to be a passive that was locked to your farm. So it used to be that you had to design your farm around your signature ability and your signature passive. Those two things were just locked, and you could add two different two different active abilities that you can swap from other forms, and that was it. I think I might be wrong, but you might have been able to change the passive ability. Anyway, eventually changed to you now have three custom active abilities and four different passives. And as soon as like it wasn't a change from like, oh, you have one passive to now you have two. No, it's now you have all four different passives available to you.
Jeez. So I feel like that like just opened up a whole can of worms when it came to actually testing all of these and being like, all right, how do we combine all of them? And like, so that was a little later in the process. So like, did that feel like a daunting task that you kind of like saw that checklist and you were like, oh, okay, I need to combine all of these things in every manner that people can possibly think of. And then I'm sure you're getting like tweets and TikToks of being like, damn it. Like,
To be fair, I think we've done pretty well so far. There are even some game-breaking combinations that still exist in the game today that people haven't discovered, as far as I know.
what a tease.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Oh, I guess I should say, if you want a bit of direction right now,
Yeah, sure, man. I'm
it
just
looks like
getting some XP here.
right. Although the fun thing about the game is that you can't gain XP just from killing things.
Oh no, I know. I mean, like me personally.
Just
like
experience.
trying to multitask while talking and playing a game without dying is a new skill for me.
It is pretty tough, yeah.
But yeah, from here, what do you think?
Well, you are looking a bit low on stars, and the easiest way of doing that is completing all your farm ability quests, and B is to go to various dungeons and also complete side quests. I think at this point you might have better luck trying to go to any of your farms that are like lower ranked, like your mermaid is at a B rank right now, which is pretty high.
Yeah, it's clearly the favorite.
Yeah,
And I really want that rogue and the necromancer. Yeah. Like, you guys do a great job of teasing. Where it's like, I want, I want it. So what's your advice here?
I mean, like the range. I think typically people have an easier time on the left side of the farm tree here. So getting the horse and getting the turtle. Yep, those tend to be like pretty quick for people, and then guard to magician is a bit of a time investment, but again, most people tend to go that way. Yeah,
that makes sense. Did you tend to go that way too? Do you lean towards that?
Ooh, I change.
Well, yeah, I guess you kind of have to.
At this point, my playstyle is very much just figure out the fastest way of moving around and get to that ASAP, which does involve the horse, it does involve the mermaid, and it does involve the slug.
Yeah, the slug's probably my favorite, just when it comes to mobility. You burn your mana for it, but it's just like my favorite thing.
Oh yeah. The slime slide is the fastest way to get around, and then combined with the horse and the mermaid is, like I think specifically the mermaid in water with slime slide. It is just the fastest thing in the game. It doesn't actually look all that correct. I think like things move a bit too fast. So fortunately, there isn't too much water everywhere. But yeah, that's just the fastest way to get around that I try to get to ASAP.
So yeah, I'll try to do a little bit of leveling up. This always, for some reason, and I know it's intentional, it's the facing your horse the right way, right? It's right trigger, I think.
Yes, right trigger is how you lock.
Which is like beyond clutch.
Yeah.
Like if you forget this, it's not gonna go well for you.
Yeah, I mean, fun. Like that was a problem for a while. That like people kept forgetting how do you lock your direction. We had to keep teaching it. Even members of the team for a while. A couple of test sessions in, we're like, wait, you can lock your direction.
And you're like,
that would have changed everything.
Yeah. Your dev's just like, oh my god, yes. Like it was build from that. Like build for that for the ground up.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, fancy.
Already done one.
I'm also low on stars because somebody took them.
Mm. Oh, in that case, you should probably go get those back right now.
Gotcha. So we are going to go a little bit into the story. Just going to let people know that
Just,
ahead of time. Not
just
too much into the story. Where am I going? Just
it's
here, huh?
actually right next to you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not convenient as all. Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. You've
Gimme.
already rescued Knife Bro.
Yeah. You little...
Some fun little details here. You can notice, there are already letters missing from the guild's name. There's portraits missing from the wall. I don't know if you've noticed, but the table that you're in front of right now is bolted to the floor. Because stuff just gets stolen in the Thieves Guild.
Yoink. There we go.
Oh yeah.
This is exactly what you want. Damn it. This is exactly what you wanted. Oh, I didn't know you could use. A buddy in the chat. She's like, I didn't know I could use right trigger. It's like, yep.
Oh yeah.
That'll help.
An important thing to know.
Also, man, how's the audio and all that? Should I be switching anything around? You know what that means. We have a new member. This guy creeps me out.
Yeah, that mask.
Yeah.
I think it's a mask. You know what? I don't think I've ever confirmed what is happening with the Thief Guild leader's face.
Who designed him?
It must have come from Augusto, our concept lead, and yeah, he just does a lot of the art. Like, yeah, a couple of other artists on the team as well, but I know Mao also did a lot of work in concepting a lot of these creations. And yeah, if nobody knew, like, a lot of the inspiration from this game, I'm sure I say a lot of, but I've heard the term Ren and Stimpy be thrown around a lot.
Yes,
that
was
those old school Nickelodeon cartoons, Courage the Cowardly Dog, as well, Cat Dog. All those cartoons kind of inspired this.
To be as
kind of
unsettling as possible.
Yeah, like creepy but cartoony and kid friendly.
I guess
vibes.
it is though. It definitely rides that line where you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel right, but like, not in a disgusting way, but it makes me feel off. Like some characters look perfectly normal with no eyes. Mm-hmm. Like the slug looks great. But for me, it was like the horse. I was like, this is a little weird. And then it's a horse beside like a normal horse. And you're like, oh, no, that's all kinds of wrong. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Check out.
The first of, well, maybe not the first, but one of the many side quests.
Yeah, that was, I think it was going into the Knights Guild. I might be mistaken by that, but it just seemed like question mark or exclamation marks everywhere, and I was like, I know what that means. I was like, oh damn, like that I was expecting but like having your form quest, right, and then like just the dungeons, which seemed like enough for me. And then as soon as I saw all the exclamation marks, I was like, oh wow, all right, like we're getting in. Like this is a full-fledged RPG. If it wasn't before, it definitely is now. So
Interesting.
If you can beat my challenges, I will give you a reward. I do not trust myself to do this right now.
You might need a few more forms, but I'll see how you do. I'll see if I can help out.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. Some fun other references on the wall above you.
Dude.
I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4. I think I get 4. Okay. Let's test me. So, Cloud's Buster Sword. Sora's Keyblade.
Yeah.
I guess it would be the Covenant's energy sword, because that's definitely not. Yeah. Master Sword, of course. The pink one is the one that's driving me nuts.
The one in the middle.
Yeah, like the top pink one with the circle in the
middle. I believe that's from what's it called? Xenoblade Chronicles?
I was right about to say Xenoblade 1 or 2. I think it's 1. And then what's the top right?
The top right is from Severed.
Oh, sick. And then bottom left feels transistory.
Yes, it is exactly the transistor.
That's not bad. I'm pretty proud of myself for that one. And then I think there's a dagger there too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say those are also all the ones that I know of for sure. I think I learned what the other ones were at some point, but they slipped my mind right now.
That was like the ultimate test. Didn't appreciate that. You'll face the following. Dun, 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 dun. All right, well then I should be able to just, right, in theory.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. This should be able to do it.
Yay! Talk tonight, bro. Multiverse, for Nobody Saves the World 2 confirmed. I wish.
Oh, you only have 8 seconds left.
Did not realize it was a timer. Oh. I always click left trigger to lock on. Like a big trouble for me.
Oh!
Alright, that was on me. That was on me.
So close.
Try it again. Try it again. Damn it.
Ooh, come on. You can. Yeah! Nice. Well done.
I haven't had this since high school, but it just felt right.
Another fun fact I can point to you here is
Please.
if you notice there's a little portrait on the wall above the above Knife Bro, and that's one of the many team portraits you can find in the game. That specifically is Daniel, who used to also be an assistant producer and senior QA tester here. Yeah, there's just like lots of little portraits all around the game for every single person on the team.
He's in the chat, by the way.
Oh, what? Oh,
yeah,
nice.
He said it's me.
Yeah, we should bring that up.
But yeah, that was actually one question I did have on the doc that I wanted to ask about was, did your like artist team, now I kind of understand why, but like all of your avatars everywhere, right? I see Drinkbox, you know it's Drinkbox. I know when you guys are in the Discord. I know, you know, Twitter, everything like that. I know when it's you guys. Was that a plan from the beginning that these were going to end up in the game? Or was this something that just kind of like, it was something for fun that you guys did and were like, you know what? These are too good not to use as assets.
I know for a fact that it wasn't the plan from the get-go. And there were some discussions about it as well, because you know, with the game development process, that's like you bring in team members, you like the team expands and contracts with time. So it was definitely going to be a bit of a logistical challenge of, are we just going to keep creating these art assets, and who's going to manage that? Who's going to update these all the time? And eventually, we just settled on, yeah, let's just do everyone. That's fine. And once we had everyone, it was only then that we were like, hey, it's a fun idea to just put everyone in the game.
I like, for me, like I love seeing, especially credits after a game, right, where it's like you can tell how much the studio cares about the people that work there. Especially you see that a lot more in like smaller studios, right? But yeah, being able to kind of see all of you in game must be really exciting. It's like, you know, I assume you know exactly where your portrait is.
Yes, I believe you already passed it. You would have had to see it in order to get where you are now.
Well, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry we won't be able to show that off on screen.
Yeah, I think it all, like there were a few that we got in the game early on, and then we were like, okay, we had like one or two. Let's just get everybody in there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure. I should be helping you.
No, this is me trying to do both at the same time. And I can feel it. I can feel DK in the chat just being like, "What are you doing, man?" I'm like, I'm learning. Okay, it's a lot of pressure.
Oh, do you not have Slime Slide unlocked just as yet?
I should.
It would really help you on here. Oh!
I know the mana. Yeah, I can feel it.
So close.
Dang it. All right, what's your suggestion here? I've done it enough times. Set me up.
All right, let's take a look here. Oh yeah, sorry, you have to get out of the conversation. Let's take a look at. Let's try to replace consume with something a bit faster. I think you know what? You can probably do this with the Ranger. It's just dark and sharp, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Even the rat would probably be great. The rat's like really fast and nimble. Yeah, do the rat and then just like that's. I think that's all you need. Yeah.
A and Y. Yeah, should be good to go.
Exactly.
Right. Tanks.
And talking to Knife Bro should reset your mana. All right. Oh.
Yeah, saves so much time.
So quick.
Oh.
Oh yeah. No worries.
Whoa.
Easy.
That felt so much better. Oh, no. Here we go. All right.
Hmm.
Sharp.
Do you have any light abilities?
Yes. Slug.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it was
I
blunt. It
believe
was
also
blunt, light, and what was that one? Sharp?
might be. Yeah.
Let's find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I'm looking at which ones aren't going to take too much mana and I'll be able to use, what are you thinking?
Well, there is. I think for the I think Arrow Flurry is your only sharp one right now, so you might
Yeah.
need
So I should
that.
be taking that over dark.
Yeah. And then I think the Gallop is just the fastest way to get around. And you could also upgrade it to. I think that reduces its mana cost.
Let's find out together.
I doesn't.
Doesn't. But you know what? Haven't spent anything on this stream yet. Might as well.
Also improves your movement speed, so you just get through them even faster.
Which is just way too fast. Right. All right. So I got to remember where all the buttons are. Well, we'll see how this goes. So let's. Yeah. So X is going to be sharp. Y. Oh, gallop. That's why. I was like, what? And then light. All right. Let's see how this goes. No judgment. No judgment from chat. I appreciate it.
Start. Solid start. Ooh.
Oh, no.
Oh.
What? No. That's so fast. What?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have the speed for that.
Yeah, I think this might be easier to come back with. Come back out.
All right. I did, what, 2, maybe 3? I'll take it.
Yeah, you did most of them. Yeah.
I'll take it. Where are you, doorway?
You can just talk to Knife Bro again, and I think he'll.
Oh, yeah, I can just give up.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And just give up. Just phone it in. From one of these two. What are you thinking?
Ooh. Well, let's see. We have an hour. Let's talk to the fox. The fox? Yeah.
Also, Jermaine, I see you in chat. Appreciate you being here.
You've been judged.
Yeah, we were talking about Rocket League before you got here. You missed it. Rumors about UFO somewhere in the.
Have you seen any aliens around the game just as yet?
Not that I remember. I did like a big chunk of the playthrough maybe a month ago. And then obviously like leading up to this, I wanted to make sure I got to level 15 and then did more. But like there's definitely a gap of knowledge there or of remembering. Hey, would you be willing to go there? Get me some of their amazing disguises. Yeah. Sure the rest of the guild would appreciate getting some of that gear. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, I gotta throw it. I gotta teleport, we're fine.
Yeah.
Right. So, let's do that. Alright.
Yeah. I think the alien storyline is by far my favorite storyline.
Oh, really?
Of everyone's. Yeah. It's a short one, but it is oh so sweet.
So that was one thing too I wanted to ask you was when it comes to like being a QA, like how many QAs do you have on the team exactly?
Ooh, at this point, 5. See myself, Chase, Vlad, Igor, and Kyle.
So how do you split that responsibility among the 5 of you, right? So do you have someone that's focused more on like side quests and like that's what they're focusing on? You have someone who's just in my brain, at least before I got into the industry, was like trying to just break the wall all the time, try to Skyrim up things. You know what I mean? Just like so, like is that part of somebody's job, or is everyone kind of responsible for their own like biome? Or...
Kind of. There is definitely like we always try to split up as many tasks as we can. I think it's been a while since we've had to do like big like area specific tests or quest specific tests. Like yes, when we were translating things into all the different languages. Oh, that we really had to figure out how we were going to split up. Like we had people doing certain languages. We had people doing certain quests, people going through like menus to like check all the different abilities. But it was very itemized, and in order for to allow everyone to just jump onto whatever needs to get done. But otherwise, for the most part, we just have our kind of like general QA bin of tasks that we all pull from, and whenever you take a task, whenever you take a task, it is yours, and you get it done.
And that's really interesting. That's something that I've like, especially over the last couple of years. I think there's been even more focus. Obviously, I'm supposed to be playing, but it's hard to do both at the same time. There's a little bit more focus on QA. I think outside of the industry or on the fringe of the industry, I think there's just become a little more heightened, especially with Cyberpunk. I'll just come out and say that, right? Like that became like such a big thing, and then them kind of pointing to QA, and then the rally behind QA as a whole was heartwarming to see. I imagine for you, it was something that would have been nice to see. Of just being like, okay, because it seems to be an underappreciated thing sometimes, right? And like I think a lot of positions go unappreciated. And then when you see things like that, where it's like you see all these people coming out of the woodwork being like, how dare you? Like QAs are integral to what people do, play testing things over and over and over and over and over. Like that's a difficult job to do.
It was a very interesting time to see all those posts, and at the same time feel comfortable and heard at Drinkbox. Drinkbox has been amazing to work at. Everyone's opinions, no matter the team member, like we're always heard. But during our iterative process, we get feedback from everyone on the team, and all that feedback is like it makes you really feel like a part of the whole development process, really.
I think it's one of the things too that's always like kind of attracted me to Drinkbox and your games is that you have that like it's a really interesting place for an indie because you already have such an amazing backlog, right? So like you have the reputation, but you don't have this 200-person team where there's, I think a lot of things can kind of get lost along the way. A lot of that personality, a lot of that passion, and that like everything feels like it's being treated with care, including marketing and things like that, which of course is something that I always look for. But just when it comes to game design and when it comes to how everyone talks about the game, like you can tell when someone is being genuine and someone isn't, right? You can tell, like even having you on here, I can tell that it's not like, okay, these are the things that I have to hit to make sure that when this goes live, that this is a way to promote the game. You can come in and promote the game by just talking about how much you enjoy it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that was a really fun thing about talking to Graham too about that, where you can see that he's been with, obviously from the very beginning, and it's just like, no, there's a heartfeltness to it, and it's that's really fun to see.
Nice. I guess great to hear that. And honestly, it has been something that I've thought about for a while as well, because I've worked at other companies, small, large, and I honestly don't know how Drinkbox does it. they have this kind of like Drinkbox magic that just I really don't know what it is, but everyone on the team is really nice, great to talk to. We're all also very focused on our work, but at the same time, we still have bi-weekly socials in which we all just let loose for a little while.
Probably miss in person dearly when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, it has definitely changed. I think in some ways it's broadened our horizons a bit, and also naturally closed some off. But when Among Us was making waves, way back when, that was just a couple of socials, one after the other, just betraying each other together on Discord.
That was the first time I actually got to do a stream. I did a charity stream with some friends. And it was exactly that. It was Among Us, and it was just the betrayal. And like, I love because chat can see it. Chat knows that you're lying, and you're just blatantly lying to like one of your best friends. It's like, no, man, no, it wasn't me. How dare you? And then like, you can just see people in chat. Or I'll get a text from being like, you're a monster. Like, it's the game, man. I don't know what you want from me. It's a great bonding experience, and I think that's something too that comes with the industry in itself, right? Is that you're kind of able to do this. I think we were in a unique position, right? And I'm not the first person to say that. I'm not the 1,000th person to say that. But when it comes to COVID and the situation that we're in, we were set up to be able to kind of keep things moving. And like you had brought it up actually before we went live, that like the scale of Nobody Saves the World kind of grew from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I had no idea that I was not expecting to be getting more than 2 biomes, and then you see the scale that it got to, and that was something that I was really curious about. It being like, was this always the plan? Was it always planned to be a 25-hour legit detailed RPG with all of these different mechanics, or was it a little more of a tight knit product?
Mm-hmm. I will also help you a bit before answering that
Oh,
question.
please.
In order to get to that UFO, I think you needed to, like, you talked that slug, and that slug, I believe, if I remember correctly, asked you to become a mage. So you might, slight story spoiler, but you might have to go to a certain mage guild close by and join their ranks in order to get through.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Don't worry. No. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll just rip through this again. Continue.
No worries. And then to answer your question, I don't think there was ever an explicit, like, oh, we need this game to be this many hours long conversation. It was always
God, I appreciate that. I love that. People equate value to time, right? In a game, and it's like, no. Like, you can't. Why? You don't want filler, right? I don't want a game that should be 20 hours be 50 hours, right? Like, if Journey was a 40-hour experience, that game wouldn't have been what it was, right? So it's like, you need to be a little more tight knit. Also, now I'm gonna see these everywhere.
Yeah, that's Jace. Yeah.
Thanks for helping the cause. Let's see that interview.
Oh. I see that you got this part of the quest done already.
Sir.
Nice. Yep.
What, you wanted money? It's called the free press, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's responsible for that voice that some of the NPCs have in the game.
Just the sass, and I appreciate it because everyone reads it the same way. Like,
yeah,
it's something I saw for the first time in obviously in a lot of different RPGs, but like Golf Story for me was like one that I like love dearly, and it's the manage that you can have personality and like inflections on words with just text, right? Is being able to do that animation to it. I think it's something that's really, really fun they're able to do.
Of course.
And this game has it in spades.
But yeah, let's see, where did I leave off? I guess talking about the scale of the game.
Yeah, I was just curious of like if this was always the plan. It doesn't sound like it was.
No, initially, like you said, there are 5 biomes. Initially, those 5 biomes were meant to be just 5 levels, and now we have those biomes that each have like 3 to 4 levels in them. I say levels like it's segments. Some weird
dungeons,
nomenclature here, but initially that was just like I think the plan was always going to be have at least the desert, the spooky, and then the 2 other biomes above it. But there were also thoughts of, I think, again, we posted it recently, and that was the first time I saw it too, that one of the artists had drafted up this massive map of all these different dungeons and biomes in the game. And, ideally we would be able to have had all of those, but you have time constraints.
Yep.
And yeah, this is what we got. But at the same time, once we switched to full team on Nobody Saves the World, like this is what we're doing. Let's go. No more prototyping other stuff. This is what we're doing. Then things expanded very quickly. We got all these different levels. We got so many more dungeons. We got guilds. Everything expanded massively in a very short period of time. Is what it felt like.
And the reviews made it worth it, I assume.
Yeah. They help.
Where's the guild hall from here, or the mage hall that I need to go to?
Oh, it is. You are in the right area. You just have to go. If you see that, it's to your left, actually. If you see that exclamation mark.
This little fanciness.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Oh, but yeah, it used, like, when I first started playing the game, I was able to go from start to end, in quotation marks, because we didn't have that just as yet, in like 45 minutes.
Wow.
And so I would just like keep playing the game over and over again every single day. Get like 3 or 4 runs in, and then we like again as the project went on,
Hmm.
playtime increased. But then again, as soon as we switched like full team working on everything, everything expanded. Like you said, once we figured out what we wanted customization to be, um, that generated all these like massive spreadsheets of like this combinatorial matrix of every single thing that could possibly happen that a player could do to affect a quest, and we did test every single one of those possibilities, which is kind of crazy that we touched on that, because
Yeah,
there's a lot.
the level you guys got to. Also, open door.
You have to head around, I'm afraid.
Gotcha. Down.
Yeah. Yes, there is a path to
I'm
your right.
testing your memory.
Yeah, I should know. Yeah, there you are.
Nice.
Hmm. But yeah, just
Oh
yeah.
god,
Well,
nope.
I believe after we got all those initial tests out of the way, then we were like, okay, now we know that everything technically works, and now we can focus on more of the more specific weird issues that have come up ever since we started, expanding as much as we did.
Well, what's one of
Uh,
the things that you find you really enjoy of the producer side of the role, as opposed to like strictly QA?
I guess. I mean,
Because it's an interesting combination. Like I can see definitely how those two work in tandem, like those two roles being QA and assistant producer. But I'm just curious, like, what's one of the things that when you got that role that you were like, this is something that you truly enjoy over that you don't get from QA?
I mean, yeah, I think I said this already, but I was already doing the assistant producer thing, so it's not like it opened up
I just mean like one specific
opportunity.
thing. It's like that. That's what I meant. Like, what's one particular like thing you got to do in that role?
Oh, actually, yes. Easy answer for this is I took over this task from someone else, but then ended up working on it for the rest of the production.
Mhm.
Is I got to work with our the one person that created all of the sound effects for the game, whose name is Michelle Frey, if I remember their last name correctly. But yeah, they did all the sound effects. They did all the voiceovers for every single NPC in the game. I don't know if
Wow,
yeah, it's just one person
that's a
that's
talented human being.
incredibly experienced, and yeah, I got to help them. I mean, I was making even more spreadsheets of what are all the sounds that we have missing in the game. What do we need to get? How do we describe these sounds? How do we figure out what we need and how best to describe it? And if we ever needed to make tweaks to it, it was an interesting process. Like how do you describe how you want something to be like more or less squishy? What kind of squishy do you want it to be? Do you want it to be more harsh or mean? Can a sound be mean? Yeah,
Yeah, you must
lots
have
of
really had to
interesting.
like stretch your vocabulary trying to like lock that in.
Yeah, it was interesting, and Michelle was also incredibly experienced and helped in that process as well. But yeah, that was something that I think I often forget about, but it felt really great to be able to have that conversation and feel like I got to affect that the ways that the game sounds in a way.
That's
And
awesome.
that was actually before I got the assistant producer role officially. Like again, because I just had to take on a couple of tasks and like it just kind of ballooned from there. Um,
That's sweet, though. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, because like that's you hear that a lot, right? With smaller and indie studios and things like that, where you have people wearing a lot of different hats. But the size of Drinkbox, it's like there seems to be a uniqueness to that position. Like you obviously hear people in QA, people producing, but like I've never heard of like those two things being combined as much sense as it makes. And I love that you were kind of it kind of fit naturally. Where you're like while you're QAing and like while you're doing the thing that you're doing anyways, it's like you start to kind of we need this sound effect, we need that, and then it challenges you to do different things, right? And kind of like open up that scope and kind of take a step back of what a producer does, right? Of more of that managerial side of things.
exactly. Yeah, it does help. I think for a while, I was very conscious of the fact that because I was playing the game every day. There were some questions that I was just able to answer almost immediately for anyone that was asking about, like, yeah, this is what needs to happen for this because I've been playing it a few times now and I can tell you how it works. Uh, so yeah, those two roles go together quite well, I should think.
Very cool. Well, I really want to
Yeah,
thank you first and foremost for taking the time to hang out with us. Uh,
my pleasure.
Plan on doing a lot more of these in the future. Anyone in chat, feel free to let me know if there's any Ontario studios that you want to see featured. We're planning on doing some co-op. We're going to be doing a bunch of different things with this series. Obviously, this is just the first one, but there's a lot of plans coming up in the future. So make sure to stay tuned to the Twitch channel. Check us out on social, of course. Got to do the whole YouTube rigmarole. And also, you're going to see a lot of other things coming from us in the near future. You've already seen the new series of the debriefs that we've been doing. Josh, in case you haven't seen that, we're actually doing like post-event conversations. So we have like 2 or 3 people in the industry that are going to go to, like, let's say GDC. We have one coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're going to have some top talent that's going there and then coming back and talking to me about it. So
Mm.
people can kind of get a feel for what the event is all about, what benefits they can get by going, which ones are worth it for their type of game, where they are in their process, right? GDC, a lot of times you're trying to pitch games, a lot of networking, but then there are other events, PAX, things like that, where you get different things for it. Same with XP, like all these other big events that we do. So that's a big series that we're doing, and then yeah, of course, Let's Plays, and I really appreciate Drinkbox and you, Josh, being our first guests on it. It's been a blast.
Yeah, my pleasure, my honor. And hey, yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot them my way.
Perfect. I appreciate that. And we'll see everybody next time. Have a good one.